management, monitoring, and reporting designed for use with our Peplink and PepWave devices. With IC2, you're going to get advanced admin tools, unprecedented device visibility, and comprehensive reporting all in one easy-to-manage package, making it a one-stop solution for your deployment. How do we go ahead and get things set up? Before we go that far, let's just get a few terms out of the way first. Organizations, groups, and tags. First off, a user, that is you or I, are always going to be the member of at least one organization. And an organization or an account is always going to have at least one group associated to it. Now, a device, a Peplink device, is only ever going to be a member of one group in one organization. They can't double dip. Now, a tag can be associated with any number of devices within a group, however, and a device can have any number of tags associated to it. Now, with those permissions, a user is always at least a member of one organization, but they can be a member of multiple organizations. And within an organization, you can have any number of admins and users associated to it. Now, a user can be given access to just a single group within an organization. Think of it as a way for security, restricting someone to only a particular group of devices. Now, the org admin has keys to the kingdom. They have access to everybody associated to that account or organization level. All right, now that we got the terms out of the way, how do you go ahead and get things set up? Well, for our cloud-based version, you go to incontrol2.peplink.com. And then down in the lower right, you see that new to InControl sign up option. Now, once you go ahead and click on that, we're just looking for some basic information to begin with. Email address, name, etc. Go ahead and hit submit, and then you're going to go ahead and get that confirmation email that's got the link to complete your activation. Then we move on to the nitty-gritty, organization and group creation, and then we go ahead and start putting devices into the buckets. First up, the organization. And again, the organization is that overall umbrella account within InControl 2. The organization is going to have the groups underneath it. And each of the groups, again, think of them as logical subgroups of devices as a way to segment your deployment, especially if you have multiple locations throughout the country, for example. And again, we're just looking for basic information, name, location, etc. And again, groups, same sort of thing, name, location, etc. When the organization is set up, you do need to create at least one group underneath the organization to move ahead. Now, once you have the organization and the group set up, we have to get some devices associated to it. And as you can see from the screenshot here, we do have to be compatible gear and on current firmware. Now, the biggest update to IC2 this week, honestly, is the Surf on the Go is now able to be monitored and managed by InControl 2 as long as you are on. We just released a special firmware update for it. Now, in addition to being current gear, current firmware, you do have to be covered by a warranty and an applicable InControl 2 subscription and have that outbound internet connection to be able to call out to the server. Once you have all that created, off to the races. You'll be able to see your devices online and plotted on the map as you see below here. So once you have everything up and running, what do you do with it? Well, again, we have 3 levels of access to InControl 2, and we'll dive into each one separately. First off, the organization level, and taking a look at the dashboard first. Now, the organization, again, is, on the dashboard is kind of the broad overview of the entire account. From here, you're going to be able to see each of the created groups of devices, their on-offline status, and applicable client positioning on that map from the dashboard. You do have your various configuration options available to you as well for PepVPN SpeedFusion, adding and removing groups to the organization, devices to those groups, your admin settings, log review, warranty information, and drilling deeper into both the group and device levels as well. First up, PepVPN SpeedFusion, you can go ahead and create and monitor the deployment straight from IC2 very easily, and we do support all of the configuration profiles that you can straight from the UI as well. Point-to-point, star or hub and spoke deployments in the full mesh configuration. Now, once you get things up and running, you can go ahead and view the deployment both on the map view, or if the map does get too busy, we do have a logical or diagram view available as well. Very easy to set up. You go ahead and choose the particular group to start with, the topology you want to go in the example here, we're going to do a star, hub, and spoke. And then we just go ahead and first choose the peers that we're including, the center point, and then it's just the particulars that we're doing for the profile. And again, this is going to be much the same information that you would see within the UI as well. Send all traffic to the remote hub is much the same as route all traffic through. WAN priority is designating, of course, how much each WAN is being used in the profile if we're looking for full-on aggregation. More so that session persistence, hot failover, WAN smoothing, etc. Once you have your settings right, it's just a case of hitting the finish button, and then that profile is going to be pushed down to the applicable units. And then again, you're going to be able to see your deployment set up and running both in the map view or that logical deployment. And then we get into some of the admin settings here. And again, we have the ability to add or remove groups to the account, add devices to those groups, manage your organization settings, access to the account itself, email notifications, config access, etc., as well as being able to review and manage the IC2 logs and warranty information for your gear. Drilling in a little deeper, we get down to the group level, and this is where things get a little more precise. And on the dashboard, you're going to see, again, a bit more detailed version of what we saw on the organization level. Reporting information for the devices, Wi-Fi information, captive portal, as well as the event logs as well you can drill into. We have the group level PepVPN SpeedFusion deployment and monitoring capabilities. VLAN deployments are possible, as well as VLAN configuration for the radio, as well as the SSID config and building captive portal. Starting there, really cool way to do it. Network settings, go down to new captive portal, and then it's from here you can build it however you like. It's extremely customizable. We have multiple authentication methods available to you. And not only that, you can have multiple authentication methods available to you for your captive portal at any given moment. You do have the ability to set up custom graphics, custom text, custom terms and conditions, and on top of that, have the ability to set up social Wi-Fi capabilities to start to capture the guest information that's going to be, using your network, and then be able to set up targeted ads via our ad server functionality that we do have in play, and start to monetize the user information that's coming onto the network. The ad server is managed by our InControl 2 platform, and we do have the ability to set up some simple ad campaigns such as surveys, banner ads, and even some video ads depending on the Wi-Fi devices you have on the network. And again, the customization is very easy to do. It's a lot of fill in the blanks, and you'll be able to see how you have things set up here in real time. Social Wi-Fi, we do support most of the major platforms, Facebook, Google, Instagram, etc. Now, once you have them all decided and added to the portal, it's just a case of completing the setup process. And then once you have things up and running, you're going to want to see, of course, the reporting information, the metrics you are capturing. And you do that under the Reports tab. and captive portal reports. And then for what you see here, it's basically what the customer is facing for that social media platform. And as you can see here, using my Facebook, for example, you can see it's a 43-year-old male, recently engaged, profile pictures faced as well. And this information is stored in IC2, and then allows you start to build those demographic profiles, and then you can start to scale ads to those demographics accordingly with the ads server. Now, once you have your captive portal set up, then you tie it to a particular VLAN to help segment that guest traffic from essential network resources. And you do that from the group level, network settings, VLAN networks, and then just add the network to it. And if you only wanted to apply it to certain units within the group, we do support tags to be able to apply the action item to if you only wanted to be on particular APs within the network over others. Once complete, save your changes and away we go. And then it's just a case of building the Wi-Fi information as well. The SSID, the encryption method, the transmit, etc. And then you go again, finally, and just tweak the radio settings for your deployment under the group-wide radio settings. And then when it's all said and done, you should be able to see a complete and customized portal page for your network. And this, again, is easily configured and maintained by InControl 2 and pushed down to your deployment. On the group level, PepVPN SpeedFusion deployments is exactly the same as it is on the organization level, but just applying to the devices within the particular group. Again, star hub and spoke deployments, fully meshed, as well as point-to-point deployments are absolutely available. And once they're up and running, you can review the status both in that map and logical views as well. And then once you're up and running, you, of course, are going to want to be able to see what client information is available to you. IP address, device name, MAC addresses, traffic utilization, as well as the Wi-Fi information, if applicable, is absolutely available. SSID, band use, signal strength, etc. for the applicable group. And then again, we have our admin information as well. Moving device management, moving devices to another group, removing devices for the group, enabling our new Find My Peplink feature, which basically is a Peplink dynamic DNS service that we do now have through InControl 2. And then some of the admin information, for example, enabling remote assistance for a particular device, restoring devices to factory defaults, rebooting the device from the cloud. You can do that. We have our device IP settings, which is a very cool way to push a configuration in mass to devices for a particular group by setting up a template-based config, filling it out, and pushing it down to your devices. Tags do also apply here, applying it to particular devices or excluding devices for that particular group. We do have InControl options if you want to disable GPS reporting for particular devices, or to disallow in cloud-based configuration pushes. We do have our full notifications option, which is our email alerts management from InControl 2. We do have a down and dirty bulk configurator where you are designating a master unit within a group and pushing a configuration to multiple units within the group in mass. We have our firmware updater, which does push the updates to the group, to the entire group, whether it is for a scheduled time within the future or immediately. We do have a device scheduler, which you can set up action items for function operations further down the line. And then again, our group admin settings for access to the group. Find My Peplink, again, is a very cool option that's just been added to the group here, where what you can do is look up your device and find IP addresses of its healthy public WAN connection using a host name. Now keep in mind that Find My Peplink does only apply currently to WAN 1 of a device right now. This may change down to the road, but currently WAN 1 is what this applies to. This is also usable for VPN utilization. PepVPN etc. You can also use this to hit the UI for remote web admin access. I actually used it for L2TP access this morning as another utilization as well. Now for requirements, this does work for all Mac devices. Actually, has been a feature in the background for a little while. You just need to be at least on 6.2.2 and onward, and of course have an active InControl 2 status. Very easy to set up on the device level. So when you're on the device dashboard, go ahead and hit that edit option. And then as you'll see down below there, you'll see find my Peplink, hit the toggle, and away you go. A very easy way to test to make sure that the host name is working is just doing a simple ping test from the command prompt, just ns lookup, find my Peplink, hostname X, and then you should see it tie to whatever the WAN IP is, as you can see from the test I've done here. Moving on a little more further detailed information on the reporting level, cell reports, very important, especially with our Max mobile devices, giving you the ability to take a closer look at historical cell signal data. You do have the ability to scroll back through time and date to see the reported cell signal characteristics, scrubbing through a route on a 24-hour basis, seeing in within quote-unquote real time the ebb and flow of signal strength along a route. Not only that, but to see those signal ebb and flows on GPS within the route itself, and being able to drill down to a specific location and see where those dead zones do come into place. And then on top of that, if you have a 3G to LTE flop, being able to find out where those locations were at, and then ideally use this information to help shore up your route accordingly and mitigate against it. Device reports, being able to see who is the bandwidth hog on your network and hopefully try to plan against it. You'd be able to drill down to in-depth reports from IC2 about client utilization, daily usage, etc. Bandwidth reports, much the same. See which devices are consuming the most data and see those trended out over time, giving you the ability to enable bandwidth capacity planning to see if you do need to bring in more bandwidth, another WAN into your balance to plan accordingly. The operations log within IC2 allows you to view overall changes made to the account. It is keyword searchable. We do have a number of category views available, and it is great for administrative review. If you do have something that configuration, for example, that has been pushed down from IC2, it does give you the ability to see which admin has logged into the account, which page of the account they've gone into, and what changes have been made. It's a great oversight. DPI reports is a way to see what type of traffic now is going through your network and the percent of bandwidth that it occupies on your deployment. This is only available through IC2, and it is only on supported devices currently. You do got to be on 701 firmware, and the device does need to be online in IC2 currently. As you can see, we're not 100% universal with the gear. It does got to be basically current hardware revision gear in order for this to take and be online in IC2 for this to go through. Very easy to set up within IC2. Just again, edit, and then you'll see that toggle again for enable DPI. Save it, and then this information does get compiled in the background. To get the reports, you just go again to the device level in the organization. Over the reports tab, and you'll see a new option for DPI reports, where you'll be able to start to review what application and what percentage it is starting to bank up within the network. Now let's get down to the device level itself, and one of the biggest tools that we have available to us is remote web admin. Remote Web Admin is a great support tool that basically allows you to get to the UI of a balance even behind a netted IP. And it works like this. Once you, one of our remote admins is requesting access to the UI through an InControl 2, it creates a proxy session to the interface, which brings you right to the UI of the device. And again, because this is an outbound session, this works behind even a netted IP, behind a firewall, behind a NAT device. If you need to get into something very quickly to take a look at configuration, start to look at how the deployment is done, Remote Web Admin, I probably use this thing 20, 30 times a day and throughout various support calls. It's a great way to hit the ground running. Geo-fencing is an awesome tool in the arsenal as well that allows you to start to automate some portions of your network for some features. What it does is you are defining an area on a map where, when a device crosses that area, IC2 is going to trigger an alert for an action item. So as you can see here, on the group level, under Settings, you go to Geo-fencing, and then you're going to either add ring or path. And then you're going to set fence where you can tie a tag to that. Now, when a GPS-enabled Peplink leaves the area, crosses that border, so this is again going to apply to our Max mobile devices, you can at this point get an email notification or have it enable or disable the built-in Wi-Fi AP. Now, again, this functionality will continue to grow as our engineers become more and more comfortable with the feature. But this is a great way to get notifications as far as location, etc. for the device, especially on every mobile deployment. InControl 2 comes in a variety of flavors. And what we've talked about today is, of course, mainly our public cloud-based version, InControl2.peplink.com. Now, if you do need to have a private instance on site, we can work with you on this. We do have a couple of versions. We do have a private VMware instance that you can install on a supported server, or we do also have an actual physical appliance that you can have in a rack as well. Go ahead and reach out to Julie and her team over at Microcom. They'll have pricing and availability for all of those for you. And this actually brings me to the end of my talk. Want to thank you guys for letting me talk about InControl 2 today, and Julie, I'm absolutely open for questions.
Thank you very much, Jason, for that wonderful presentation, and it looks like I got a couple questions for you.
Wonderful.
Let's get started with this one here. Let's see. What is the best avenue to train a new support staff member at a low cost?
Wow, what a broad question. I would say the best approach, of course, is our Peplink certification exam. It covers every facet of our gear. We have a few tracks available, both for the support as well as the sales track, and gives you a wide variety of information available to you to become very, very familiar with our product. Team at Microcom should certainly be able to get you the information on the PCE.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me go on to our next question here. In regards to the Find My Peplink, is this also supported with Surf Soho?
Yes. Let me go back to that slide here. The Mark III, I believe, certainly does. So you're just going back up. Balance of Max products running on. I would have to triple check it, but I will say tentatively yes. I haven't personally tested that one yet, though. But if you do register it, again, go ahead and check on the board and IC2, edit. All things being equal, you should have that flag there at the bottom for the Find My Peplink service. The cool thing with the Find My Peplink service, as opposed to what we had in the UI, is that this one actually applies to, like I said, it's more on the box level with the WAN 1 as opposed to just strictly being on the WAN 1. It brings it up a level, which is a very cool approach to take with it, then makes it a bit more flexible, is my understanding.
Thank you very much, Jason. I've got a couple more questions for you. Does
Sure.
InControl 2 work for all Peplink devices?
Pretty much most of them across the board. As I said, we've just added the Surf on the Go like late last week. It does require a firmware update that that isn't on the site yet. Shoot us an email. We can get you the update for it. But for about the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head that don't work would be the device connectors.
Thank you very much. Next question. Is it available in PepWave products as well?
Yeah, again, the APs, the Soho. Let me go all the way back to, it was scrolling back up here to the Maxes. All right. It is, yeah, here you go. The Balance, the Max, the Access Points, the Fusion Hub, and now the Surf family. Again, about the only one that I believe doesn't apply would be the device connectors.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go on to our next question. As the remote web admin, am I able to print and log data in reports to present to upper management during IT infrastructure improvement meetings? As a consultant, that would help me sell more of the device and be able to show back data from other projects.
As far printing data, as far as no, ultimately it would be still, it's still the same. You're still hitting the UI like you would be going in through remote web, like a remote web admin. You do have the, where you're taking screenshots basically out of there. What you do have the ability to set up SNMP out of there to dump to a syslog server, for example, or doing the reports out of IC2 that you can certainly download and go that way with it. But if you're talking about taking a report straight out of the remote web admin, not really. But there are still certainly the classic ways around it that you can go with.
Thank you very much, Jason. I've got one last question here, it looks like.
Sure.
I see an update with deal registration change the percentage of back pay for registered deal. Does that affect the margins when an order is not registered?
That I really can't speak to. I'm not being on the sales team directly. I would point you to your account rep to talk further on that. I would just be talking from a position of ignorance, to be blunt. I do know that things have, I've heard rumblings that things have changed a bit, but as far as what that is, talk to your account rep. They'll get you done.
No problem. We can certainly do that. Jason, thank you so much for answering those questions, and thanks everyone for attending today. And if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep here or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown today, visit our website at www.microcom.us. And please remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded, and it will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so you can view the whole thing again. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.